The League of the Genuine Conversations, with me, your host, Fred Mwema. Every Friday, we have an important discussion about the subject of counterfeits. We have always said, and we say again, that counterfeits is an important but often ignored subject. The purpose of this conversation is to deepen our understanding and appreciation of the concealed dangers of counterfeit. So every week we pick a guest from among yourselves. Everybody is eligible to come and have a conversation about this subject. Please do join me in welcoming our new guest. She has a unique name. The first name is Chiwumuro. The other name is Elon Musk. Is it Elon
No,
Musk?
it's Elon, not Elon Musk.
So did you change your name after this guy, Elon Musk, bought Twitter and all these things? You copied the name or what?
No, I've had this name for all my years, so I think he's the one who
Copied yours?
Who copied me, probably.
Because I have not heard of anybody called Elon. But yours is double L.
Mine is double L, his is single L.
So yours might be the original
Yes,
copy.
Probably mine has to be the original, I would say.
You are the Executive Director, Family
Comfort Foundation.
Comfort Foundation.
Yes.
And then you're also an art teacher.
Yes.
I can see the art in your hair. Very artistic. You'll be telling us if there are fakes in art also. Are there fake art pieces or fake drawings?
Okay.
And then the part that interests me most is that you are a psychologist.
Yes, I am.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Your first time to hear about the subject of counterfeits, or it is something you
I've heard
deal
it.
with?
I've heard it. I've been hearing about it, though I didn't think that there is this organization that is just too much into it. Counterfeits seem to be normal. They are all over in our lives. Counterfeits seem to be normal. But I had not seen this particular organization, this particular area of people coming in to deal with counterfeits directly now. Though
But you have some experience with counterfeits.
Yes, I have.
You're not shielded from them.
Yes.
Okay, you see, we are trying to promote awareness about counterfeits. But we know so little about this issue to the extent that we celebrated the World Consumer Rights Day a few days ago.
Yes.
But I don't think even you knew about it. Did you know about the World Consumer Rights Day?
I didn't know, but I think actually when you talk about awareness, you're very right. Some of these things are not automatic for us to know, because people willing to do the awareness are not really there, or they're not consistent. Because I fall in the social sector, we have the Women's Day, but we also have a Father's Day. But do you know that the Father's Day is not popularized? It's not
Women's Day is a public holiday.
Yes.
Father's Day is
It's just
a normal day.
We even have a Men's Day somewhere that is silent. So some of these days have to be popularized, and it's the effort of community to keep talking about them till they'll sink. So yes, we need awareness in all sectors.
As a psychologist, because it intrigues us how we respond to this issue of counterfeits.
Yes.
And because learning never ends. For example, I am doing some reading. Right now I'm reading Professor Jordan Peterson's book on the 12 Rules for Life, the Antidote to Chaos. And there's something I read there. He says human beings have a great capacity for wrongdoing. We have a hard time taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
Now, that's a dilemma, which I think applies to this counterfeit question. It appears human beings have a hard time resisting the allure, the glitter of counterfeits, that we continue consuming it even when the dangers are in front of us. a lot of we Africans die from consuming fake anti-malarials. Every year we are dying, 500,000 plus.
Yes.
But we continue buying them. As a psychologist, can you maybe shed some light on the psychology of this behavior of we human beings?
Of course, as psychologists, usually when we tell people we are psychologists, they ask, "You mean you can study my brain and see what I'm talking about?" This is a very common question. But as psychologists, actually, being an art teacher and a psychologist, there are things that are just within our training. For example, as artists, we are trained to appreciate. So I cannot look at you and say, I cannot look at a woman and say, she's an ugly woman. No. But there is something good about her. No, that is, I appreciate. So, meaning in my training, I have to be critical.
Critical thinking.
Yes, that is art. On the same page is psychology. We are trained to study behavior. We are trained to analyze. That is part of our training. So, and now, of course, as a psychologist and an art teacher, I have no choice but to keep being observant and analytical, because professionally I'm prompted to. That's where I get my results from.
But talking about analysis, sorry to cut you short. The professor here says that the human being has two bases, two foundations. The foundation for order and the foundation for chaos. The foundation for good and the foundation for evil. That every human being has an inheritance of doing good and an equal inheritance of doing bad. So if you are making an analysis, it must have this premise.
Yes.
That we are both good and bad.
Yes.
So maybe it's okay to consume counterfeits, and then you consume some genuine also.
No, because still counterfeits have their side effects. The side effects will always stand.
Okay, they have side effects, but now we're talking about the behavior. We are trying to decode why do we have a penchant for going for these fakes, despite the obvious dangers you're talking about. Why is that human behavior there?
First of all, there is what we call the culture setting in Africa. In Africa, usually, it is a problem for us to embrace the truth. For example, there is what we call the golden rule. If we are looking at the golden rule, if we are looking at golden rules will always look at things that in the right setting. In Europe, right is might. And in Africa, might is right. So there is a way we look at things. And for example, if we went to police and this guy, the man has raped a house girl, and yes, this man who came, this girl has taken the case to police, and this guy who's been reported comes in a suit, and he speaks this good English with this big car, automatically the police will change its position on the maid, and they will say, these maids keep blackmailing men like you. Several men have because
so
he's coming.
Start faking it.
They don't know how to face the you know, because he's coming.
The truth.
As it's my.
So there's a dichotomy there. There is standing up for what is true,
yes,
and standing up for what is correct.
Yes.
So correct doesn't have to be true, actually.
Yes.
Correct as in the social setting
yes,
and social order. This is the correct.
Yes, yes, yes.
What they used to call the correct line.
Uh-huh.
Then there is what is the truth, which may be unpleasant.
Now, that is a problem. That is when it comes to Africa, most of us will say there is this common statement, umgagata sobia. But is that right?
The rich cannot be held at fault.
But is that right? You see, we've had issues with parents. Parents never go wrong, but is it right? You see? Now, in the culture setting, we also have that other side. And then, on the contrary, apart from the culture setting, we have that too. We have what we call the social order versus the godly order. Now, the social order has been presented in such a way that everything is supposed to be, actually, it could be, it's like 1 + 1 is equal to 2. That is the social order. If you took your child to a good school, she has to get a good job.
A good grade first.
Uh-huh.
After getting a good grade,
school,
goes to a good university.
Yes.
And then must get a good job and must be successful and have a big wedding and
Yes.
have nice children, a nice wife, and forever
Yes.
after.
And they live happily thereafter.
That is the projection.
Yes.
Imposed.
Yes.
It may not be based on reality,
Yes.
but it is.
Imposed by society. Now that is a social order. And yet, when it comes to the godly order, it could be 1 + 1 being equal to 5. And it's the right answer.
The godly order allows for tweaking, for the reality, for things to. It's not.
It is
fixed
not
in
straight,
stone.
because of course he has to prove himself, right? And he has to prove, God has to prove himself that yes, he's the author of everything.
And if you are on your best behavior, things can happen. But if you're not, it's not automatic.
Yes.
That's the godly.
No, even when things are moving on rightly, things may fail. That is the godly order. Even after pursuing the right system, things may not work out perfectly. You see? But here the challenge is, how do we handle that other side when things have not moved on perfectly? On failure to handle that other side when things have not moved on perfectly, we are living a counterfeit life. Right from the interpersonal.
So what you're saying, what I'm learning here is that even before you go out to look for a product which may be fake, the fakeness has been breastfed, has been imbibed into you through this social order.
Yes.
Pretension.
Yes.
Fiction.
Yes.
So when we go out in the market and we find counterfeits, we easily consume them because they are a mirror image of what we have at home. That's what you're saying.
It's like a counterfeit system seems to be normal. You know, it is wrong, yes, but it seems to be a lifestyle. A lifestyle that has been given fertile ground right from home. For example, you'll find it very okay when we get married and our husbands are very, they emphasize the fact that, you know, for me, my mother, you'd have to deal with my mother like this, and failure for you to deal with with my mother like this, things won't work out, which is okay.
And you're saying that is fake?
No, that is...
To a point.
I'm not saying that is fake. But the question is, are you treating your children's mother the way you want to treat your mother?
Because you're also a mother.
I'm also a mother. You see? Now, even then, if I'm the wife, and yes, I'm treating my husband's mother perfectly, yes, which is okay. Am I doing the same to my mother? You see? And we've embraced that other side of life as normal. And we feel it's normal. We respect whatever, actually, this is about bargaining power. Whoever bargains right, whoever bargains right, they'll take the day. They'll take the day. So this is an era whereby if we have to deal with counterfeits, we have to learn to bargain.
So you cannot fight counterfeits unless you own your true identity and your true self.
Yes.
If you're not yourself, if you are a lie, then you cannot go and fight a lie out there. Because counterfeits are a lie about themselves.
You're not an authority
on yourself
to fight counterfeits when you're fake. So this is strange, but it takes us to the true us, or checking ourselves and saying, who am I? I usually tell people that I usually get time and take myself to a meeting to meet me. You know, yes, now, some of us are aware that we make mistakes. I'll make my time and go to therapists. For example, now my therapist is Dr. Chienji Frank, Nkumba University. He's my therapist. Now, if I've not gotten time to go to him to help me deal with my challenges, I take myself to a meeting and I meet me.
You go for a meeting to meet yourself?
To meet me. And it is strange. Do you know that you may meet yourself and you may also get ashamed of yourself?
And get surprised. Who was that guy?
And you also realize you're fake.
But Elon, we are Christians, for example.
Yes.
I think the modern Christianity owes a lot of what it is today to soul. We are all souls who can become Pauls. So it is possible that out of fakeness, good can come.
Yes.
There
Very
is hope
possible.
there.
Very possible. Very possible. Very
That
possible.
even if you're coming from a counterfeit identity, you can actually go out there and try to erase and eradicate. That is a possibility.
Very possible.
Because we are all sinners. Nobody is perfect.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we don't take that approach, then we can as well give up on this fight and say, what is it we can do?
Yes, that is very possible. But even then, that starts from us embracing our mistakes. You know, we have to embrace the fact that, yes, here and here I have not done right. I'm one person who always believe in positive confrontation. Confronting me for what is right, a supported confrontation for my goodness, it is okay. Why? When we grow up and we are out in the world, people just, we get ashamed amidst people because we've not been talked to. So that is me, I embrace that. But you also realize that most people hate that truth. That is also another challenge. You know, it's another challenge as we are dealing with counterfeits. People hate the truth, and you realize that people who deal with that truth usually don't have friends around them. In my counseling work one time, my friend referred someone and told them, "What answer do you want? Do you want the truth or you want your own answer?" Then they told them that, "Yes, I want the truth." She told her, "If you want the truth, go to Elon." Now, when people are coming to my side, it is the better truth. Of course, I help them through, I nurture them through how to embrace the truth. But at the end of it all, the truth sets us free.
We have to take a break, but what I'm taking from you is that we need to confront counterfeits and speak truth to them. We're back with the second segment of the League of the Genuine Conversations. If you've just joined us now, this is the only show on the planet where we discuss the important but often ignored subject of counterfeits. We are here with a psychologist who tells the truth, and you say the truth hurts. The truth is that counterfeits are affecting our wealth, our health. They are causing damage to society, they are causing damage to everything. They are killing us. But we don't want to face this truth. What can be done to make this mindset change? Because for us here, we have identified the drivers, and we are hoping that through Dankani, we can awaken the consumer to stand up against this menace. As a psychologist, what do you say? What can be done?
First of all, I think it's the right time that we've got to a level of identifying the challenges that have come with counterfeits. Now, that is one of the solutions, identifying that.
Diagnosis first.
Yes.
Before treatment.
You see, we've now got to that level of seeing how we've been affected by counterfeits. We've lost lives through counterfeits. We've lost identity through counterfeits. On the globe, surprisingly, when it comes to Africa,
we're dumping
fake
ground.
Things, yes, we've seen the effects of it. Now, first of all, we also have to love what is good for us, to love ourselves and love what is good for us and love what is good for our nation and love, feel proud of good things around us.
So love for self is a starting point in fighting counterfeits. Value yourself. Love yourself. Because I think a lot of Africans do not think they are valuable enough. They don't think they are worthy. They don't think the genuine things are for them. They think, you know, for us, we're a lower grade. Okay? We can do with anything. So a lot of your folk, the women, are taking to cosmetics, dangerous corrosive substances, and they are piling. Maybe as a psychologist, you're not doing enough for your gender to help them.
No, we have a challenge with self-esteem. When we are talking of life skills, we emphasize the self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is not something we borrow from someone, but it is something that we live with. Self-esteem is something that is affecting most of us. It is strange when I'm usually handling my sessions in class, I tell my students, I'm Miss Universe and I'm an international girl. I tell them, why do I use these words? I want my brands, I want my products to have their esteem. Now look, when they look at me, I'm not full of cosmetics all over. I actually have my gray hair, you see, but I'm also very proud that, yes,
you are what
I'm
you
Miss
are.
Universe. Yes, you see, that is what I am. Now, you realize that psychologically, we've not prepared people to appreciate themselves. You see, as psychologists, of course, when you say that we've not done enough, yes, there is that bit, but that identity, your identity, feeling your identity, loving yourself the way you are, feeling proud of yourself. Yes, if you don't have that, that's why it will be very easy for you to borrow around the cosmetics. Yes,
and going for the face.
You see, yes, actually, that is because you're running away from the true self, from the true you. You're running away from you.
You're chasing something. You want to be something
yes,
which you are not.
Actually,
so you will easily gobble on
yes.
the counterfeits. To,
I was talking to someone one time, and she told me, "But Elon, at times you're too much. At times you're too much. At times you're too." Because I speak. I speak and I feel, yes, I'm supposed to speak. Elon, you speak. And why do I speak? This is my side of speaking. People who are fake are speaking loudly. You see? They are fake, but they are speaking every time and every time. If I feel I have some bit of genuineness, why don't I speak? That is one thing. And when this person told me, Elon, you're too much, but I told them, the day I cease to be too much, I'll be running away from me. I cannot run away from me because I have to please you. You see? Now, that is also a challenge. Living the life that is not for a counterfeit, you also protect yourself because people are beating it. It is wrong to be right, you see? It is wrong to be realistic to you, so suggests society. When we are teaching our children, when we are studying psychology, there are things we've emphasized. We keep emphasizing. We tell girl children because they fall in prey of different things because of not speaking out. The African culture doesn't allow them to speak. But we train them, learn to express yourself without hurting someone. Learn to express yourself. Now you see, on the side of fighting counterfeits, for us, we are already in class, the psychologists. We are fighting to tell the student, please let you be, express yourself. And what is society doing? This is strange.
You must conform.
This is strange.
You must go with the crowd.
Now look at the lawyers, our friends, the female lawyers, are finding it hard in marriage. Why? Because it's one of the segments that has always trained people to speak. When they speak and when this family is failing, what will happen? They'll say, you know, that is expected of lawyers. Lawyers speak a lot. Lawyers are impossible women. You know? Now, because they are fighting and expressing themselves, the world is not willing to embrace them. So, digging into counterfeits, it's not something automatic. But it is the movement that has to be. You know, we have to keep making noise. I keep talking of a certain statement. If we don't respond to this noise, and if we don't respond to this echo and its vibrating noise, the noise will move on until it is heard.
I was seeing on your website, you said our lives begin to end the moment we become silent about things that matter.
Yes, that is Martin Luther King.
That was Martin Luther King.
Yes.
And so you think our lives are ending because counterfeits matter and we're keeping silent about it?
You know, this is strange. We now have a scenario now we have scenarios of the sodomy around. It is strange. We are affected directly, but we are quiet. But these people, I like the way they are bargaining their side. They are not keeping quiet, to the extent that they are proving us fake. You see? They are bargaining their stand and they are proving us fake. What we have to tell the world now, it is high time we arose to speak about what is right, because we cannot run away from the truth. A mouth silenced is a destiny affected. How many destinies have we blocked because of our silence? So in order for us to deal with counterfeits, we need to speak. You know, speaking is not easy, I'll say.
It's even dangerous sometimes.
It is dangerous now. Some of us don't have friends around because of speaking. But yes, there is nothing as good as dying empty. With that feeling, yes, I did what is right.
You've given your all.
You see, let me leave the rest to God, but I did my side. I did my part, so that is that.
So, this is what we've identified as the drivers.
Yes.
We cannot differentiate. We think price is an issue. We think it's normal. You've talked about it. We are negligent. Do you agree with these drivers of counterfeiting? Do you see them out there when you're doing your work?
Yes, I do. Now, look. For example, we have a big issue of differentiation. Why is it hard for us to differentiate things? It is not our culture to think.
We don't want to think.
We don't want to think. There is a book that I read that is very interesting, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And the devil was so proud of saying that, yes, I'm beating you because you don't want to think. And people who think for themselves are the people who can win me. So, because we cannot think, we cannot differentiate.
We are not able to differentiate.
You see?
And we're not thinking hard enough, and we think that
Yes.
price is an issue.
You see, we don't take time to think. We don't take time to analyze. But we shall follow those people who are thinkers. You see? We follow thinkers. But the question is whatever they're thinking right for us? What is your take? What is your thinking on what they're thinking? You see? Now,
if you say we don't think,
we
I
don't
think
want
it's
to
also
think.
we don't want to think. It's also related to we don't want to read.
We don't want to read. We don't want to read. We don't want to read. We don't want to read.
You cannot fight counterfeits if you cannot read, for example, the product that is being sold. How will you be able to tell? I have some products here. Let me just give me those toothpaste, for example. I saw some video which said that these toothpastes actually contain a warning that they have fluoride, which makes, if you swallow, if small kids, actually they say this is very dangerous. You should not allow little kids to brush, use the toothpaste, because they can easily swallow. And in the video, the lady was saying that if you actually take in if you don't rinse your mouth properly and take in, the fluoride is so dangerous that you must contact the poison board, that you become poisoned. And I'm just wondering, how many of us read the warning and safety signs? Because some of these are very small, but I can read, this is Sensodyne, it's big enough. The others you can see on the screen, but it says brush twice a day and not more than 3 times, minimize swallowing and spit out. If irritation occurs, discontinue use. Talk to your dentist or doctor as soon as possible if you experience swelling of the mouth. In other words, this can swell your mouth, you can get injury or face. Sensitive teeth may indicate in the underlying. In other words, there are warning signs here. It's a pity they are too small. I may not read, but they can be shown on the screen. We are suffering from counterfeiting because of our negligence. We as consumers, one of the consumer rights is the right to know the quality of the product. But the brand has come up and put all the information for you here and told you this thing can be dangerous if not used well. But we don't want to know. What psychology is this?
When I got into the reading culture, there is a way my life changed. Yeah? There is a way my life changed because I'm interested in knowing. But there are things we shall never own unless we take time to read and understand.
So you're telling the viewers,
yes,
always read
and
the labels and warnings on the product.
Yes, on the product, because those products are always, those things are always there. Now, there is also this other thing. Why the whites are far ahead of us, even the mere fact that they came to colonize Africa, they took details of understanding and reading about Africa lands about Europe. They also wrote their book, Europe Lands About Africa. You know, we have the Africa lands about Europe and Europe lands about, you see. Now, for them, they didn't just read, but they took time to learn and understand Africa. That's why they were in position of colonizing, because they took time to learn.
First to think, apply what they have thought,
Yes.
to action, to recording,
Yes.
recordation, just
Yes.
recording, writing.
Yes, and now that's why they are they are willing to even sell us these products with pride. That if you want to hide information from a black person,
You
hide
put
it
it
in
in
the
writing.
book. Can you imagine?
But this is not even in the book; it's in the open.
It's in the open.
But you don't read.
Now, on the market, there were books I saw, these books for the young children. When they've already begun advertising or putting in the information about the single-sex relationships from childhood. But because we don't read, we cannot even see what is in the books our children are handling. So this is very dangerous for us, and we shall continue consuming counterfeits in detail. If
Somebody
we don't,
wrote for the World Consumer Rights Day, I'm seeing something here in the monitor, World Consumer Rights Day is in the terms and conditions. And she was saying, a key finding from the study, I think they did a study, is that the terms and conditions of digital service providers assessed in the market were filled in jargon that needed explanation. In other words, some of the words written may not be discerned easily and understood. And then she's asking here, when did you last read the terms and conditions of any digital product before clicking accept? We are going online and buying all manner of things, but we never read the terms and conditions. Again, the psychology of not thinking, not wanting to know. We are not doers. We just want to consume.
We are not innovative, and we just consume. You know, innovation moves hand in hand with thinking. Now you'll find that someone who wants to know a lot about the internet and what, that one will have the information.
And it's there.
Yes. That one will have the information and the side effects, because probably they're interested in that specific thing. And there is also this, for those things that we are very interested in, we shall know.
The gossip.
The gossip
Who
we shall
did
know.
what, who with who.
You see, and
that we shall know in the detail, and even go in the bars and discuss.
And this is one of the most trending TV show, Uncut Karakata. So people are always attentive because it is gossip. And remember, gossip, when they say it is uncensored and what, it has no roots of, it's not right. We shall not say that every gossip is right. Yeah? But you find that wherever there is gossip, there is a lot of following. It will be strange that, yes, we are dealing with counterfeits. It is strange, you'll even find that the followers in the counterfeits are few. On the discussion.
Because it's boring.
It's boring. It's very boring. And when it comes to any funny following, you know, I'm a TikToker, and I happen to give in those the parenting talks, but I don't have following. Why? Because people want this other that other information that is probably not really organized. I'll say I'm boring, unserious, the funny one, you see. And yes, I won't have a following because
But Elon, why yet the black man, Africa gave civilization to the world? What happened? Why did we fall back?
I think our falling back was also planned by the whites. I would say it was also planned,
and we accepted.
And how did they do that? They first robbed us of the culture,
the mindset.
Yes, they took away our culture in quotes for modernization.
So we lost our identity.
We actually lost our foundation. There is no way we can pause with the steam if our foundation is fake. If you come up and you're standing on the foundation and you think, yes, this is what would be right culturally and what, you're fake. Now, it's us, the Africans, beating our fellow Africans for being fake.
The League of the Genuine Conversations, the third episode here with the Kiwumuro, Elon Musk. Please, I'll add on Musk so you can fake it a bit. And you say you are a relative of Musk. But we're talking serious stuff here about how we are an awful lot, that appears to not to have our senses together to control our destiny and to determine what we want. Again, I was reading on your website, you said 80% of the suicide cases for boys or men below 25 years. I don't know whether the counterfeit culture and the counterfeits on the market are improving or worsening the suicide situation from a psychology perspective.
Counterfeits on markets, they are worsening the situation. And yes, you've talked about the boy children. Those ones have proved to be the most vulnerable of recent.
Where are they vulnerable?
The rightful godly order was the man in his position as the head. And this was safely done in family, where the roles were distributed, that these are men role, the gender roles, women and men were given that position, the society helped to position them in that other side of their authority. Now, on board came the women emancipation. We are counting ever since the last quarter of the 18th century, that is the rise of the feminism. Wherever there are feminists rising up, men don't know how to handle women. There is feminism, yes. Then there is also the rise of women emancipation, which has been on for the last 50 years. Now you realize that whenever women rise up to speak, men don't know how to handle emancipated women. That is also a challenge, I think, globally. So they will coil. And remember...
Or there will be domestic violence.
Yes, there will be domestic violence because men are natural competitors. You see, men are natural competitors.
They compete for territory,
they
authority.
Compete, you see.
So they don't want competition.
You see, they amuse me when they are on the road, and they'll race. You race with someone when even someone is not aware you're racing with them. Men amuse me when it comes to competition. Now, look at the challenge we have dealing with natural competitors, and we are here bargaining for their positions. Here we are at the point men used to be engineers then, but we're also engineers now. You see, now men don't know how to handle. So a mere fact that they cannot dominate over women anymore, or they don't know how to live with that. Some of them cannot confront the world without that leadership, without that authority. They would rather bury themselves into suicide.
So is that creating a counterfeit setting now in the home?
A very big one. Now it's like...
or is that progress?
It's not. It's not. Actually, it is a struggle to help our men, to teach our men, or to help our men handle staying with emancipated women. Why? Our home is becoming a battlefield. Because men don't know how to handle this superior woman when she's out there. How are we supposed to redesign the system that for a woman to be excellent and to be better than you financially is okay? How are we supposed to deal with that? Unless we deal with that.
Because in the natural setting, because you're talking of God's law, in the natural setting, the leader provides.
Yes.
The leader will not depend on you to provide.
Yes.
Because that psychologically can affect the leadership position.
Yes.
If you have to rely on handouts. You are supposed to be the fountain of, you are the hero, as it were. But if you lose your hero status, then it is not possible for you even to be taught how not to be a hero.
No, you're right.
If you see what I'm saying.
So,
and I want you to speak to that in the sense of the fake parenting that has come onto the scene.
Yes.
We are failing as parents.
Yes.
How does this dynamic of the battle between the parents, man, woman, what is the output? You were talking about fake parenting. And
yes, we also have the fake parenting. But now, this is it. We are, like you've said, that it's not right to for this man to accept that he's failing. So he cannot learn. He cannot understand the concept of being taught how to fail, you see. He has to just excel. But there is this concept of life that, yes, a man is provided to provide, and he's tuned to be on top. Now, just in case he's not on top, till when are you going to battle? There is that bit of acceptance.
So he runs away.
Yes.
So you have the negligent men, the irresponsible
you're
men,
right.
the single men who have
But
run
we are
away.
suffering if men are not with us. We need them.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've just explained it well.
Yes.
That it's a natural setting. You are a mother, you are more caring. There are things you can do that a man cannot do.
Yes.
You're predisposed to be like that. Now, we are saying that we have a flip, maybe a fake that has come, where somebody is taking your position. Just imagine if the men decided to take over the women's role, and they're in the kitchen, counting the onions and checking every little thing. I think the women will be up in arms. What kind of man is this?
It's even very nagging. It's even very nagging.
You call it nagging. You'd even divorce and say, I have left this home. This man comes, the teaspoons of sugar and all this goes to the women's department. But for me, I am interested in knowing how those factors of men, women could have their own social indicators that are pushing it. But I'm interested in the counterfeit question. And we, on your website, you say your organization is looking at the vulnerable members of society. But haven't counterfeits made all of us vulnerable, men, women, whether you're on top or below? We have all become vulnerable. Can you redefine this vulnerable?
I think yes. When the vulnerability is all over, then people who are also not vulnerable are also taking the vulnerable track. Now, take for example, you are talking about the fake parenting.
Yes.
And yes, look, partly why we are suffering with men, or partly because men are taking that direction, it's because we are looking out for the exemplary male champions, or father figures are absent in the houses. And this is an appeal to the whole society. When we are talking to men, yes, for us, we love our men, but they've also turned us vulnerable. Can you imagine? Because they cannot handle that, we are now calling upon the churches, the whole community. Now,
but even the churches are vulnerable to counterfeits. Because the church congregation, where does it come from? It comes right from the market. Even they come and give offertory, which is fake. Somebody sells a fake chapati or whatever and comes and offers.
This is terrible.
You see what I'm saying? But,
yes.
but in terms of, because you see, the man, the woman, present themselves in the family based on what they feed. We have a lot of fake products that are affecting the reproductive health of women.
Yes.
I hear fibroids, they are getting fake sanitary pads, they are fake anti-pregnancy pills, even the men, performance by the men biologically is being affected. It's a big crisis. Where is it coming from? Many of them are taking to alcohol. A lot of the alcohol is fake. It's affecting their productivity. Many of them are eating vegetables or whatever, which have a lot of pesticides. We don't know how this is affecting their performance. They are eating wheat products. There's a lot of wheat which has banned substances like bromide, you know, those oxidation things which affect fertility. So the counterfeits are seeping into the family quietly, affecting the man and woman.
And the woman, yes.
And if tempers are flaring out there, it could be because of these counterfeits as well.
You're right.
So I am saying, don't you think as a psychologist that the appeal for us to think, to use our brains to address this problem 360 degrees, we have just given drivers which are indicative of why we are going wrong. So it looks like you are saying the solution starts and maybe ends with us applying our brains, our mental faculties.
Yes.
And maybe even this counterfeit problem is a mental health issue. Because it's affecting our attitude, our mindset, and it can degenerate into a mental.
I think when you look at it from that angle, this also unveils the role we are supposed to do. It is dealing with counterfeits is not something small. You've given the side of what we eat, what the products on market, all those are counterfeits. If they are counterfeits, there is the way they affect our system. Actually, we don't know. There is a way they affect our systems, and when they affect our systems, of course, they affect our reactions in different ways.
Yes. So you're busy counseling a young kid, thinking this kid, what is wrong with the kid? But the kid has been taking fluoride, a dangerous substance, brushing without supervision of the parents.
And swallowing.
You go and swallowing. Now we don't know the effect on the guy's physical, and mental. So I'm beginning to suggest to you that include in your counseling sessions an aspect of counterfeits. This person who has a weird behavior, it is coming from where? You can be talking to somebody who has an alcohol problem, alcoholism. There's a lot of fake alcohol. You've seen even cases of young boys dropping and just dying. It's coming from the alcohol.
Drugs,
because it's also a drug abuse, but the alcohol is fake.
And the drugs themselves, they are all over us. And of course, when it comes to the side of parents, of parenting, the parents and the children seem to be on two different pages. But the children are on their side bargaining, Mommy, I want. Daddy, I want. And children, the parents are also like, they are giving. You see? There is what we call parenting with love and logic. Yeah? If you're giving your child whatever they want, is it what they need? Because there is a difference between
whose
what they want.
authenticity and purity, by the way, you cannot confirm.
Yes.
But you're just buying that
because
iPhone.
Actually, it's like we are bribing our children to love us because we are fake on giving them time. We are fake on standing with them from the point of truth. It is strange. Some single parents amuse me when they've hated their, they've lived away from their partners, and they're saying, for me, I'm transferring all the love to my children. My dear, to me, I feel that is fake love. That is a counterfeit.
Why?
You're giving them overdose of love that was supposed to be for the man. So you're
spoiling them in the process.
Spoiling them in the process. Instead of living the truth that, yes, I separated from the other relationship, but I need a relationship. Now, accepting the mere truth that you also need a relationship, that is also now a struggle.
Because you need to be a strong woman or mother who has a balanced life, who has also love, in order for you to give love. Because you cannot give what you don't have.
Yes. And this is strange, eh? You know, counterfeit, the counterfeit thing is strange. Eh? You know, when I'm exaggerating it, it's really interesting now. It is even strange or fake for someone to declare themselves that, you know, my dear, I love you. Eh? I love you and I can bend low because I love you. Now, that seems to be not there. People will say, but that one is going so low. Much as I love him, I cannot say it like that. But the reality is, if you love someone, it is okay to declare your feelings. Be
yourself.
Be yourself.
Don't.
Can you imagine if you can also make that kind of, we cannot declare that, and yet really loving is a good thing. If we can also not declare that for our good, then you can imagine the level of counterfeits that we have around us. And the question is, how can we deal with counterfeits when we are also not genuine? When we're not genuine. How can we do it when we're not genuine to us, you see? And you see, there is also this other side of family. You'll find that we are designed to be very genuine to the rest of the world, you see? Community is celebrating us. Church is celebrating us. Everyone out there is celebrating us. Relatives are celebrating us. But in your family of 4, no one is celebrating you. And time will come when you need this family around you. When you go to deathbed, it won't be the workmates or anything, but it will be these 4. You
gave me a very good scenario of your child going to school on their own, S1. And yet we have traffic jam. When kids are going back to school, some parents, the mother will drive, the auntie will drive, the father will drive. You know, there's traffic jam because parents are competing to be seen taking kids. But for you, you allowed your kid to go to Mwiri from S1 on their own.
Now, this is an interesting scenario.
Are you crazy? I'm sure people are thinking like you are the fake one.
Yes, now, this is what happened to me actually. I happened to live to be a married single for some time when my husband is not in my life, and this is what helped me understand that yes, I have to raise my boy into a man. You see, and I made sure I have to teach him to learn to stand on himself, to learn to stand on his own. So when I was looking for a school for him to go, I looked for Mwiri because I wanted him to compete with fellow men with an assumption that he's under female dominance. I was all over him, and you see, I love him. Now, this is what happened. I took him to school the very first time. I took him by taxi. We boarded and went to Mwiri. And I told him, it is your responsibility to bring yourself back and take yourself. Now, this is what amused me. One time when he went, he was supposed to communicate to me that Mommy, I have arrived. So he didn't communicate back that I have arrived. Of course, I kept hurting as a mother, you know. He would have told me that he has arrived. But I said, no, I also want to communicate back. He's supposed to communicate to me. I felt, yes, I'm supposed to know. Probably he got an accident. But I said, no, if he got an accident, the school at least would report. So I kept with pain, but I felt this boy has to communicate to me. I have to learn, I have to teach him how to communicate. Now, this is what happened. My dear parents who are looking at us, who are viewing us, children are interested in their issues, not issues that also affect us. Now, after some time, pocket money was over, like 3 weeks. This boy calls, hello, Mommy. I told him, what is the problem? Mommy, how are you? I'm well. I asked him, why didn't you communicate to me to tell him that, to tell me that you're there?
That you've arrived.
That you've arrived. He told Mommy, I didn't have airtime, and I asked.
But how come you got airtime to ask for pocket money?
Pocket money. Now, my dear parents, my fellow parents, when it comes to children, when it comes to our children, protecting what they want, they are very aggressive. But when it comes to them protecting our interests and what we love for them, they are on their page. You see, there is something I keep telling you know, our children are also fake. When we're going to their VD, they'll even tell you, Mommy, they are very certain of our love, and they know, Mommy, Mommy loves me, yes, and they tell you, Mommy, you put on this dress, and mummies, you know,
they want a showy mommy,
.com mommy. You see, they want that .com mommy to go to school, which is okay. But I'm also here to ask our children.
So they are competing out there.
Yes.
Who nailed it better? My mom nailed it better. Did you see my dad?
Can you imagine?
So the fakeness there is, so it's not even the genuine real love that they are getting from you. It is, they have commercialized everything. Now, commoditized, if you like.
Yes. And I'm here to ask, the way you believe in us children, is it the way we believe in you? Because they believe in us. And they know we cannot disappoint you. We cannot disappoint them. But
so they take it for granted.
Are they paying right? Are they paying us right when they disappoint us?
And what you're saying, that showy thing is what makes them graduate from school and go right into the market and look for counterfeits.
Yes.
Because they have been cultivating this culture.
Yes.
Elon, we need to stop. What is your message to the audience?
My message.
This menace of counterfeits.
Okay, my message.
From a psychology perspective, from a teacher perspective.
Okay, now I'm very happy to have been invited for this session. It's been quite interesting. I'm humbled that you've invited me. One thing from the psychological point of view, yes, I'm encouraging us to live the right life, not the fake life. Be you, accept you, for your health, for your wellness. You can only be in position of fighting counterfeits if you have also confronted yourself from the point of truth and you're ready to deal with yourself and your issues for your betterment, to speak to the world.
Wow, that is Elon.
Yes.
Chiwumuro, a psychologist and executive director of Family Comfort Foundation. This time around, she took me to school. We have been talking about psychology, counterfeits, and I think my takeaway is we need to do more thinking. We are not thinking enough, we are not reading enough, and that is why counterfeits are spreading like a wild bush fire. I think here in Uganda we need some legislation to have meaning imparted on the Consumer Rights Day. We have a consumer protection bill that has been in Parliament since 2016. This is a bill which is supposed to protect consumers, traders, and everyone against exploitative trading practices, key among which is counterfeiting. So I think this has been a good discussion. Thank you, Elon Musk, for the discussion. We can host you anytime. It's quite interesting, the psychology part of counterfeits. As always, we would like to appreciate our audience that makes the time every Friday to make a date with us and listen to our conversation. We appreciate your feedback. We appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing to our channel, and putting that notification to always remind you of the next interesting episode of the League of the Genuine Conversations. We'd like to sign off by asking you not to be fake, to buy and sell genuine always.